News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here on a Tuesday. A good show on tap for you. Want to let you know that this morning we're going to be streaming live. It's going to be on News Channel 5 Plus's Facebook page, correct, Mary Elena? I believe that's the plan. We'll be streaming live on Facebook at News Channel 5 Plus. If you'd like to go on there and message us some questions or comments, I can draw them. As well as always, we'll take your phone calls. And it says there, questions for the Vice Mayor? What? Oh! He's right here sitting next to me. This would be the Vice Mayor, Jim Shulman.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. It's a
here.
Rare pleasure to see you twice in 3 days.
Well, the first one was probably going to be much more fun.
Oh, no, this is always fun. An hour with you on this, but he and I were both at Soup Sunday. That's, I think, one of the most, and you've probably been to several as Vice Mayor and in politics as you are, but one of the most unique, fun fundraisers for a great cause in the city.
It's one of my favorites.
Isn't it neat?
Yeah. So in case people don't know, what you do is you go sample soup. And there were, I believe, 40 different types of soup.
I think so, yeah. 40 restaurants.
And the key has always been not to fill up right at the beginning because they don't give you a lot of soup, not enough to taste it.
Right.
But the rule we always go by is take a bite. If you like it, you can keep eating it. If you're not sure, then you can put it down.
Yeah.
But if you get too full at the beginning, then you leave out a number of soups at the end.
Well, and that's, you've got it down because Sue Ford White, who's obviously with our kids, great organization that helps children that are, dealing with child sex abuse. She goes, well, Jim Shulman's here, and he tries every single one. And is that true? Because you have to kind of wait in a little bit of a line at first, but to try every single soup, and then you go back and try. So
there's a method to the madness, but yes, I tried every one.
I ended up buying a pint, I guess, of the Sambuca. It was kind of a lemon artichoke soup.
Yep.
I loved that. The winner, I think, was Broadway Brew House.
That's right.
For, was it the second or third year in a row?
They had some type of, seafood.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, I think it was some type of bisque, and Rick and I, like going there for chicken wings, but who knew? They make great soup too. Anyway, it was a good cause, and they do that every year, and I'll let you know next year if you want to join us out there. But it's good to have the Vice Mayor on. Lots of things that we can talk about this morning. We'll open up the phone line, 737-7587. Wanted to hit first on a story that to me is just absolutely, one, disturbing, two, fascinating, and three, likely soon to be a screenplay for a movie. And that would be the debacle with the sneaking in of the construction of the new jail, and where it sits now. The sheriff comes on this program and is a good friend of the show, and I don't think I've ever seen him this angry.
And I'm not surprised. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of money that went into building this facility.
Right.
I know he has spent a tremendous amount of time trying to make sure he gets this right, and for someone to sneak in, assuming that's what all happened, and to obviously mess up the security system with the keys, that's going to cost the city an extra $400,000. And now this idea that maybe things were hidden.
Well, they found at least 3 locations caught on video that they went back to check on that was running during some of the construction. 3 locations where they found loaded weapons. I don't know if it was stashed in a wall or hidden somewhere, where the thinking would be the building would be complete, those guns would be hidden somewhere in there, and that could be used for gosh knows what.
Well, a very dangerous situation.
Oh, yes, for everyone.
Very costly to the taxpayers. Who would have thought that would have happened? But in this day and time, you take every precaution that you can, and obviously this happened. Now we got to deal with it. But you said made-for-TV movie. Yeah.
Holy cow! When this plays out, because they do have 1 suspect in custody and 2 others they thought were cooperation. We pulled the contract that the city had with Bell Construction that's doing this to look at what they would be required for with security. I don't know if you've been privy to any of that, but it does appear to me that they met whatever. This is not a jail that had inmates in it. They probably provided the same type of security that they would for any kind of construction site, which is basically for safety and to make sure no one goes in and steals stuff. This is the first time, as far as I've seen, anywhere in the country that someone has been caught sneaking into the construction of a jail and planting weapons. They're not set up for that, right? Do you think Bell should be responsible for reimbursing some of the costs?
Well, I think it probably goes back to the whole beginning of the process, and you know, it's not the first time that any city has built a jail.
That's right. And Bell's done others and does a great job.
So how do you take into consideration that you're building a secure facility? You know, what steps are required by the contracts? What steps are required by the contractor? What is everybody supposed to do to make sure that this thing is, first of all, you know, you're building a jail, so you want to make sure that people go in and can't get out. I mean, so you want to make sure that the whole structure is stable and solid. But then how do you check to make sure that the people who are going in don't bring in things that can make it dangerous after the facility opens up?
So do you set it up like you would, it's an active jail and you've got metal detectors and all this, and the thing that would, while that construction just next door to us here has been going on, I mean, there's an army of people going in and out every day, doing hard work, getting it done. That would have delayed adding that level of security. Maybe you need to. I think Bell was in charge of everything until I think November, and that's at which point it transferred back to the sheriff's department. And then within 2 weeks, they noticed something messed up with the keys, which led to the whole arrests and everything. I'm not saying Bell was responsible here. I think we've looked at the contracts ourselves, and it doesn't appear, because we've gotten that question a lot, should they have to help pay for some of the costs? It doesn't seem like they did anything wrong because you don't account for this. But the sheriff did say he thinks this will change the way jails and prisons from here on forward will be built, because people around the country are seeing this, and it's going to give folks ideas.
I know. So, like everything else, sometimes in this country, something new happens that nobody ever thought would happen, and then you have to deal with it from here on out.
Just happened. Nashville's the first one for this. I think what this does mean is it's a delay as well for the jail opening, because sheriff said they're not going to do it until they're sure there's nothing else stashed and all those locks get changed. So it was going to be maybe April. Is that a big deal in terms of, you've already touched on the cost of fixing these things, but the fact that those inmates stay out there another maybe month or two on Harding Place, big deal?
I guess we'll have to see. I mean, obviously we have a facility that can handle the situation right now, because it's been handling the situation as they built the new jail. Everybody thought it was going to open at a certain time. I don't think it's going to be a problem, at least we haven't been told that.
Yeah.
If it is, we'll have to deal with it, because we can't obviously put people in a secure facility that's not secure.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go back. But I mean, who would have thought? Another example of people taking advantage of a situation, and in this case, costing the time, the city, extra money.
And this suspect, Alex Friedman, that's going to be fascinating. I mean, that guy was a well-known prison reform advocate, and I don't know where, if he's guilty of this, something snapped, or maybe he got with some radicals that are in that cause to do this. It just boggles my mind. He was respected, no more, and if he's convicted. Listen, we'll take a break. I just wanted to ask you on that. That's just, to me, just an unbelievably fascinating and disturbing and costly story. When we come back, we'll take some calls for you as well, but there's other things we can talk about. As I said, the soccer, you know, last time you were on, I think it was just getting close, and now it's kind of come home, and we'll see what else you'd like to talk about in the city. We'll take your calls with the Vice Mayor, Jim Shulman, right after this.